So I just regained power like a minute ago because it's storming. No better time to do this, I guess. I don't really have an intro for this one. Just watch the last video so I don't have to repeat myself too much. Mass Effect 2 was the first game in the series after BioWare was acquired by EA, and thankfully this is before they became money-grubbing casino managers with loot boxes and all that, so thank God. Aside from a major shift in gameplay, the larger picture of the series was basically the same. But before I get into that, let's cover that plot first. One month has passed since Sovereign's attack on the Citadel, and the Normandy crew is tasked with cleaning up the remaining Geth that reside outside their territory. During one of these missions, the Normandy is suddenly attacked by a mysterious ship, and it's just tearing everything apart. Most of the crew is able to evacuate, except for Shepard, who is flung out into space with his suit punctured, causing him to, well, die as he burns into the atmosphere of the planet below. Well, that's the end of Mass Effect 2. A really short game, all things considered, but I think it's a really good one. No, but actually, Shepard's body is recovered by an unknown organization, and he's been brought back to life, though now he's just got some glowy bits sticking out of him now. The station Shepard wakes up in is under attack by its own security drones, and it doesn't take long for him to run into Jacob Taylor, a security worker. He tells Shepard that it's been 2 years since the Normandy was destroyed, and that the organization known as Cerberus spent a ton of money to bring Shepard back from the dead. Now, Cerberus was in Mass Effect 1. They were part of a short series of side quests where some shadow group was performing messed up experiments. Now they've evolved into a private military company that is focused on the advancement of humanity, even if that means leaving other species to crumble. The plan is to escape, and they run into Miranda Lawson, the officer in charge of the project to bring Shepard back. Shepard is then taken to a facility where he can speak with the leader of Cerberus, the Elusive Man. Timmy here informed Shepard that he was brought back because human colonies have gone missing, and he suspects that it might be the work of the Reapers. He sends Shepard to the latest missing colony, Freedom's Progress. Shepard, alongside Jacob and Miranda, head to the colony and run into a group of Quarians led by our old teammate Tali, rocking a brand new suit. I like it. And it's nice to see that she isn't the only Quarian in the game anymore. Tali tells Shepard that they're here to find another Quarian named Vitor that was residing at the colony. With their help, Shepard and the group find Vitor, who has camera footage and other data of the ones that abducted the colonists, and learn that the culprits are a species called the Collectors. Shepard and Tali go their separate ways and report back to the Elusive Man. He tells Shepard that the Collectors are rumored to come from whatever is past the Omega-4 relay, and that no ship has returned from it. The Elusive Man tells Shepard that he needs to gather a team of the most elite individuals out there, and provides dossiers of a few of those people. As a parting gift, Shepard is reunited with Joker in a brand new Normandy for him to pilot, now with a bar, and an AI named Edie. This'll go well, I'm sure. Well, thankfully she's shackled, so she can't take over and kill everyone. So we already have our final goal laid out for us just like that. Most of the game is spent gathering forces for the attack on the Collector base. After getting the first batch of squad members, the Elusive Man sends Shepard to Horizon, another human colony. But this time we're able to show up early, except not really, because the Collectors already abducted half the people there. The crew manages to drive the Collectors away, and also run into Kaidan, or whoever survived Vermeer in the first game. And he's kind of pissed that Shepard is working with Cerberus, considering their extreme practices. They split up, and then Shepard goes to speak with the Elusive Man, and he reveals that he lured the Collectors to Horizon as he suspected that they were after Shepard and those connected. Oh, so kind of him. With all that said and done, Shepard is given more dossiers while the Elusive Man finds a way to make it past the Omega-4 relay. Eventually he calls and says that a damaged Collector ship was found via Turian distress call, and sends Shepard to investigate to find some intel on how the Collectors can pass the Omega-4 relay. During this investigation, we learn that the Collectors are actually reformed Protheans, similar to how the human husks are, but less zombie-like. Edie manages to hack into the Collector ship and discovers how to pass through the relay. She also mentions that the Elusive Man definitely should have known that the initial Turian distress call was actually fake to lure Shepard. That guy really likes fucking with us, huh? With Edie's data, we find out that we need a Reaper IFF tag to bypass the Omega relay, and to get one, the Elusive Man sends us to a Cerberus research facility that's taken up shop in a dead Reaper. When Shepard arrives, we find out the Reaper isn't 100% dead, as the whole research team was indoctrinated and turned into husks. Whoops. We manage to get the Reaper IFF with some assistance from a Geth, which Shepard takes aboard after it gets knocked out. Didn't know robots could be knocked out, but whatever. Before heading into the Collector base, Edie needs time to integrate the IFF into the Normandy, and the whole squad leaves the ship during that time. Unfortunately, after leaving, the Collectors invade the ship with the whole crew either killed or abducted, with the exception of Joker, who unshackles Edie so she can help purge the ship of the Collectors. Upon return to the ship, it's time to make the final move against the Collector base. It's all hands on deck for this mission, and depending on how your playthrough went and who you choose for certain tasks, it's possible for your party members to die. Not for me though, I'm fucking awesome. We rescue our missing crew and head to the center to find a brand new Reaper is being built. A human Reaper. Thankfully it's incomplete, so it's able to be taken down with some sort of relative ease. Taking it down, we're given our final choice: blow up the base or initiate a purge that will only kill the Collectors and leave the tech, the latter of which the elusive man wants. To be honest, I have no idea what the repercussions are for this choice, if there are any at all. Either way, I destroyed the base because I'm a good boy who doesn't like to see the elusive man happy. We managed to kill the Collectors, but their masters are still on their way, and soon, the galaxy will face its greatest challenge. And that's basically it for the overall plot. So, I know I skimmed over a lot, and I mean a lot, but that's mainly due to how the majority of this game is up to the player's choice. Even going to the Citadel is optional, and it's mainly just a place where you can go to buy supplies, become a shameless sellout, catch up with Anderson, and punch reporters in the face. The story is pretty short and simple, as this is the game that serves as a prelude to the eventual war that's going to happen in Mass Effect 3. It pretty much just puts all the chess pieces where they need to be. The plot being simple paves way for what this game's true focus is: the characters and the loyalty missions. The loyalty missions are side quests catered to each of the characters, and completing them will give you better odds for the survival of the final mission. I'm not going to cover every single one of them because there are 12 of these bastards, but I want to talk about a few. Starting with one of the returning members, we got Garrus back, and he's pissed off. He basically got fed up with all the Citadel's BS and went to the crime-infested shithole Omega and became the Punisher. However, he had his own squad that was killed because of a traitor, and he's out for revenge. During his loyalty mission, you can get him to go through with it, or you can talk him down, leading to a nice reflective moment for the guy. The other returning party member is Tali, and if we want to talk about glow-ups, then Tali is a shining example. Not only does she have a cool new design, she actually feels like a character this time around, instead of the walking encyclopedia she was before. During her loyalty mission, she's accused of treason for bringing active Geth back to the Quarian fleet, but it was her father that was secretly trying to build new Geth so the Quarians could reclaim their homeworld. After finding evidence that her father did this, the loyalty mission has a few outcomes. Tali can get cleared of all charges, if Shepard's cool enough, and she'll be forever grateful. If you don't have a high enough speechcraft, she'll get exiled, but she'll still be loyal. Or you can submit the evidence which will clear Tali of charges, but she'll kinda hate you for it. I'm trying to get the best outcome for these games, so I went for the first outcome. Also, Tali hating me is something I don't ever want on my conscience because she's just so adorable. For one of the new characters, we have Jacob Taylor. Next up is Thane Krios. He's a dying religious assassin, and if that doesn't sound fucking awesome, then I don't know what else to say. He joins up with Shepard because he's dying anyways, might as well go out with a bang in the suicide mission. His loyalty mission is about finding his son and trying to make up for the fact that Thane kind of abandoned him. But overall, Thane is a good guy. He's just very conflicted. One of the more unexpected members, we have Legion, a Geth from the sect that defied Sovereign and searched for Shepard since the events of Mass Effect 1. His conversations are really interesting as he talks about how the Geth actually worked and their culture. He's also a good source of some awkward humor too.
When we took you aboard, I noticed you have a piece of N7 armor welded to you. Where did you get it?
It was yours. When you disappeared, we were sent to find you. We began where you first encountered the heretics. Organic transmissions claimed your death. We recovered this debris from your hard suit.
That doesn't explain why you used my armor to fix yourself.
There was a hole.
But why didn't you fix it sooner? Or with something else?
No data available.
Lastly, I want to talk about Mordin Solus, as his story will be important later on. He's a former member of the Solarian Special Task Group and took to being a doctor on Omega. After recruiting him, he reveals that he was a member of the science team that readjusted the genophage as the Krogan were acclimating to it, so the Solarians just said, fuck that. Mordin will repeat that he doesn't regret his decision, and during his loyalty mission, he discovers that a former colleague is close to developing a cure, but Mordin puts a stop to it. You can either destroy the research data, or you can keep it, and I always choose the latter because if you played the series, you'll know why. But yeah, Mordin can be a cold, logic-first kind of guy, and sticks hard to his beliefs. But goddamn, he has an amazing singing voice.
I am the very model of a scientist Solarian. I've studied species Turian, Asari, and Batarian. I'm quite good at genetics as a subset of biology because I am an expert which I know is a tautology. My xenoscience studies range from urban to agrarian. I am the very model of a scientist Solarian.
This game also has some DLC party members too, but they don't have much to them, if I'm being honest. They have loyalty missions, but you can't have full conversations while in the Normandy, and they kind of just say stuff at you depending on where you are in the story. Zaid Masani is a mercenary that is just kind of an angry person, and his loyalty mission ends so fast I don't feel much for him. The other character is Kasumi Goto. Her loyalty mission fares better because you go undercover with her to a big wig party and you need to steal stuff from this maximum security vault. It's really cool, but as a character, Kasumi's alright. But like Zaid, she doesn't have much to say outside of her loyalty mission. This game has a really good cast of characters, and that even goes for the Normandy itself. Joker and Edie have a great dynamic, which starts as Joker hating her, but after unshackling her, they become a lot more chummy. Even the random crew members stand out in this game. All throughout the ship, there will be instances where you hear the crew chatting with each other, and you can talk to some of them like the engineers and the cook. They give the ship a personality, and it gives plenty of motivation for when the collectors kidnap everyone. Something I felt was a bit lacking was the lack of character interactions between the different party members. I guess I can kind of understand why because of how huge the party is, but I feel like there could have been more. Like, the only time Garrus and Tally ever have a unique conversation is this bit.
You ever miss those talks we had on the elevators?
No.
Come on, remember how we'd all ask you about life on the flotilla? It was an opportunity to share.
This conversation is over.
Tell me again about your immune system.
I have a shotgun.
Maybe we'll talk later.
You'd think there'd be more considering how their dynamic is in Mass Effect 3. Like, at least a how you doing when you go recruit her, but it is what it is. Mass Effect 2 really improved the writing from the last game, especially in the humor department. Like, I didn't catch this bit with Admiral Course until I saw someone else point it out. Not gonna explain this one, but if you get it, you get it.
Commander Shepard, this is Admiral Zalcorus Vasquibquib. Do not ask about the name.
I take no pleasure in this, Tali, truly. But you have gravely endangered and dishonored our fleet.
You have a ship named Quib?
Oh, here we go.
Our people have, during difficult periods, purchased pre-owned vessels from other cultures, and have, on occasion, had difficulty altering the ship's registry information. The citizens of these foreign-named ships have borne the stigma of these names with grace and honor.
If it bothers you, maybe you should find another ship.
I've occasionally entertained the idea of requesting a transfer. Something with a nice, respectable name, like the Defrons or the Ictomy. But I am proud of the Quib, and I will not flee because of petty insults.
Going beyond the humor, I really like the writing regarding the morality. There seems to be more of a gray area when it comes to the decisions you have to make, like what to do with the genophage cure research, or the fate of the heretic Geth during Legion's mission. Mass Effect 2 also reworked the morality system for Shepard a bit too. For one thing, they kind of rewrote how Renegade Shepard acts because they act more like an aggressive loose cannon instead of the super racist asshole you can be in the first game. Throughout the game, you'll be working with Cerberus and the Elusive Man. Choosing to agree with them will net you Renegade points, but it never feels like you're being an awful piece of shit by doing so. I mean, I never side with them, but I never felt like I was taking the high road by making these choices. Even if the Renegade choices means you're siding with sorta terrorists. I don't know, I guess it's more the way you look at it. Like if you actually want to go full Cerberus cheerleader mode, or if you just agree with the whole humanity needs to step up sort of thing. I actually really like this change because it lets me be more of a mix of Paragon and Renegade, and I can build Shepard as more of a character rather than just an avatar for myself. This game also introduces the interrupt system, where during certain scenes you'll be given a prompt to perform a Paragon or Renegade action. These are cool and they make sure you're paying attention to the story, though sometimes I forget when they come up sometimes. There are some you just have to do, like kicking this dude out the window, and if you don't hug Tally when she finds her dead dad, you're a monster. Lastly, besides the 2 extra party members, we got 3 DLC stories. Project Overlord is basically a sci-fi horror scenario where a VI goes rogue and it follows you throughout the whole thing. By the end of this one, I was very disturbed. And well, that was probably the point, so good job I guess. Then there's the Lair of the Shadow Broker, where you reunite with Liard and help her rescue her friend who had been kidnapped by the Shadow Broker. It ends with Shepard and Liard killing this dude, and Liard takes up the mantle as the new broker. The last DLC story is Arrival, in which a threat of a Reaper invasion is imminent, and the only way to stop it is to launch a meteor into a mass relay, which ends up destroying a whole star system and causes the deaths of thousands. Oh, war crimes. All in a day's work. This should get Shepard thrown in prison immediately, but that won't quite happen yet. You can play these DLC stories anytime you want, but I prefer doing Shadow Broker and Arrival during post-game, as I feel like that's where they fit best. Speaking of war crimes, you're going to be doing a lot more shooting in this game compared to Mass Effect 1. This time around we're dealing with a more mission-based structure, where instead of traveling to the location on foot or in the tank, we're headed over to a certain point in one of the 4 hubs and then going on the mission. This game completely reworks how the combat system is, and it has a much larger focus on being a cover shooter, where there are convenient chest-high walls everywhere. The shooting itself is pretty good, and part of the reason I like playing the soldier class in this game. Like Mass Effect 1, there are 6 classes to choose from, but instead of having weapon specialization pools, the guns you carry completely depend on what class you pick. For example, infiltrators can only carry snipers, pistols, and SMGs, while something like adept can only use pistols and SMGs. Soldiers can carry all weapons except SMGs, and all classes can use heavy weapons. These bad boys are new, and there are plenty to go around. My favorites are the heat-seeking grenade launcher and the particle cannon. I really like using these against the tougher enemies like these Praetorians, who take a hell of a beating. But yeah, I like using soldier because I like using assault rifles, and a lot of the skills complement the shooting. Yeah, let's get into the level up system and how it's been immensely simplified. Well, it was already kind of simple in Mass Effect 1, but stripped down, I guess? You only get about 6 skills and can map 3 of them so you can use them during real-time combat instead of constantly going to the power wheel every few seconds. Party members get 3 skills and you can map one of them to D-pad direction. I don't really do that though because it feels a bit inaccurate, but that might just be more of a me thing. You can unlock a 4th power for the party members upon completing their loyalty mission, and you can even have Shepard use one of those same powers, with my personal favorite being Energy Drain, as it's basically a life steal that only works on mechanical enemies and shields. It'll even heal your HP, as gameplay wise it essentially acts as a second layer of shields with less death preventing. Having a quick lifesteal is really helpful because in this game, Shepard is made out of paper mache and you gotta take cover a hell of a lot more often. I guess those 2 years really did a number, huh? So another thing they changed from Mass Effect 1 was the power cooldowns. In the first game, each power had its own cooldown and you can just spam them one after another. In Mass Effect 2, the powers are all on a universal cooldown and the duration of the cooldown depends on which power is used. Like using one of the ammo powers has a minuscule cooldown while something like the concussive shot is longer. Can't say I'm a fan of this change, honestly, for both this and the limited level up system. I get trimming the fat where it's needed, but this feels like it was trimmed a little bit too much. I like what's here, the gunplay is fun and all, but I feel like it's just a bit too simple, and I think the game loses some points for me because of that. Anyways, we don't have a Mako anymore, but one of the DLC packs we're able to drive the Hammerhead, this super fast hovercraft that's literally made out of tissue paper. Like, oh my god, that was 3 hits, why am I almost dead? Other than that, it's fun to speed around the area and stuff, but it's only used for a couple missions. Shooting isn't all you'll be doing, as you'll need to gather materials for upgrades. That's what exploring the space map is for. You can go to several different star systems and locate many different planets. Scanning them will allow you to find materials, and the amount and type you get depends on the planet. Usually, for some reason, you can find more materials on smaller planets as they're in more concentrated areas, I guess? The upgrades you can get from these are damn helpful, such as extra weapon damage, added health and defense, and chip upgrades that will give you better odds during the final mission. You can also increase the number of probes you have so you don't have to keep going back to these fueling stations all the damn time. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of this mechanic as it's very grindy and it's very much a pace killer in an otherwise smooth run. But regardless, make sure you probe as many planets as you can. You can even probe Uranus.
Really, Commander? Probing Uranus.
Now, I haven't really talked about the remaster much, or at all, actually. And that's really because there isn't much to talk about outside of graphical improvements and bug fixes. The only difference I can distinguish is that the lighting is much better. In the original, I feel like they went overboard with the shadows, where in some shots the characters looked like they were entirely blacked out, and it never really looked good. As far as the presentation as a whole, not just the stuff regarding the remaster, it's a massive improvement over Mass Effect 1. The voice acting is better, and we got a few new notable actors such as Martin Sheen as the Elusive Man and Carrie-Anne Moss as Arya T'Loak. We actually have some cinematography with these scenes now, where characters actually move around during conversations, and we got camera angles that are dynamic, and we have music that perfectly sets the mood. I love the soundtrack to this game, with some of my favorite tracks being the Elusive Man's theme, Tally's theme, and of course the Suicide Mission track is just... Mass Effect 2 is a really, really good game with great combat, story, characters, especially the characters, and I like it a lot more than Mass Effect 1. This was the game that really made me like the series. It just had a different vibe that encapsulated me. I think as a whole, the flow of the gameplay is just better than how it was in the first game. Mass Effect 1 has a slower pace, something I can deal with, but I prefer something faster in a shooter, and Mass Effect 2 just excels at that. However, like I said at the end of my Mass Effect 1 video, I encourage you to start with that game so you can import your save file and keep the choices you made. Mass Effect 2 lets you start the game by giving you this interactive comic that details the events of the first game and lets you make some of the most important decisions, but it's just not the same, you know? I think you gotta experience that stuff for yourself. This game has been called the best in the trilogy, and I can definitely see it, but I've thought about this a lot, and I think I'm in a weird place where I both agree and disagree. I'll be able to explain my thoughts better next video. Well, whatever the case may be. We'll be finishing this fight in Mass Effect 3.